So after what feels like forever of us just not being satisfied by superhero films, we've been satisfied about 100 times over by Logan because yeah, it's real good.
Well, let's be honest, 2016 wasn't the best of years for superhero films, but I tell you one thing, Fox did deliver with Deadpool at the start of the year, and Fox have delivered again here with Logan.
They sure have.
Oh my goodness. Obviously, we've got Hugh Jackman leading us off here, playing and returning as Logan for the very last time. He has said that the last time, that's it, no matter what, it's the last.
We also have Patrick Stewart as Professor X, or I guess in this world he's just Charles Xavier, and then we also have Daphne Keane playing X-23 or Laura, and we also have Caliban played by Stephen Merchant and Boyd Holbrook playing a villain whose names are going to go unmentioned here. And it's directed by James Mangold, who did the Wolverine. And who'd have thought that he'd get it right the second time, as right as he did? Because, I mean, when we've been asking for superhero movies, or just comic book stuff in general, to just do its job, and just, if we take away the extra universe and we take away all the trimmings we have outside that connect everything and weave it together, we get a film like Logan, which is it's built its own world and it's done it so well and it's got us so involved and it's just so good in every way it should be.
Considering the X-Men franchise is a little bit wobbly, it's a little bit shaky at the moment. Obviously, we've got Legion crushing it on TV,
yeah,
but we had
check that show out.
Oh my goodness! But we have most recently X-Men Apocalypse was just so very messy.
People are all over the place on that one, which doesn't mean it's done its job.
And the continuity in the universe is so out of place.
I mean, we had Deadpool was really good, and Days of Future Past was really good.
And then Logan comes along, set in 2029, and essentially we just get Logan partnering up with both Charles Xavier and X-23, and they're on the run. That's as much as you need to know. And it's
That's
so
all the
simple.
film cares about you knowing. It's got stuff there. It's got content there for everyone who's up to date. Like us who've seen everything that's come before, it's got the stuff there and we can draw from that while watching it. But anyone can go into this film and enjoy it. And that's such a refreshing such a refreshing thing to see. And I think it's going to really do well for this movie because not only is it excellent, but it's accessible. And that's a really, really important thing these days. And I guess accessible to a degree because it's rated R and it's earned it because the violence is real. I think it's real. We're not over exaggerating anything here. It's just really, I don't know, it feels
Well, the
vital.
thing is, what this rating allows this film to do is it accesses a new door for both X-Men and especially Wolverine here.
This is what I wanted.
Because like I'm not kidding, guys. Like I was sitting in this theater and like, yes, we enjoy superhero films, but we've been let down so many times. I've just never had so much fun in my life. Like, or at least it's been a long time since I've had this much fun. Like sitting there and being like, oh my god, that's Wolverine. Oh my god, that's Logan.
Just watching him just wreck stuff. It's like, this is it. This is what happens when you take away the shackles, when you take away all the restraints that superhero films are putting on themselves nowadays because of the studios. Fox just said, just do what you want, and it did it, and that's why it's so good. It just doesn't have any barriers.
It's so exciting. I'm sitting there like shivering. I'm like, oh my god, look, there's fucking Wolverine just killing it. Like, it's just so freaking exciting. And that enjoyment, like the nostalgic feelings you get throughout this, it's constant and it's so well executed. And execution. I'm speechless. Hugh Jackman's performance leaves you speechless. I was so blown away. Brought me to tears by the ending. This guy has articulated Logan to a whole nother level.
That's what happens when you play something for 17 years, but I mean,
you can just see the work, and he gives it his all. Not once. I know a lot of people, some people do have problems with Hugh Jackman, kind of separating him on screen to compare to his off screen, but like, this is just pure Logan, pure Wolverine, and he gives everything here.
Yeah.
It is so layered and complex, considering the story is so simple, and he just delivers.
Every single point he can, he's absolutely perfect. I'd say it's probably the best performance I've ever seen by him. And as well, Patrick Stewart here is phenomenal. There's certain scenes that he has that are handled in a way only Patrick Stewart could. And it's such an exciting thing. The villain played by Boyd Holbrook is also excellent. I mean, there's a blending here because there's a lot of antagonistic elements happening in this story. But he really, from his first scene, I'm like, man, I really dig you as a villain. You're not Joker level, but you're really, really good. And this should be the gold standard, the bare minimum of what we should be expecting from superhero films nowadays. He is 100% just great.
Fantastic. And of course, Daphne Keane as well as X-23. She delivers such a great performance.
And her and Hugh together.
But to wait, like she is
and
sitting,
Patrick Stewart.
She's sitting between the three and it's
Patrick
like, oh my
Stewart
god.
And Hugh Jackman, and she's holding her own. So she did an excellent job. And I mean, the other thing as well, we did say in our first trailer reaction, it had still kind of held up for me, is that the visuals could have had a little bit more anger to them, and in that way I mean a little bit more handheld, a little bit more dust, a little bit more of a Children of Men vibe. But these are outright the best visuals we've seen in a superhero film since at least The Dark Knight Rises, and obviously that's an Oscar-nominated film. But this one here just looks so good, particularly at night.
Cinematography is really good right across the board, and yeah, lighting, especially those night scenes, are fantastic. With like, I mean, we get a lot of practical effects,
a lot of torches and
practical
stuff
locations that really kind of elevate a lot of scenes.
It's no studios.
So you've got scene after scene, and you've got a lot of elements going on. You've got a lot of talking, then you've got a lot of action, and the action is so worth it.
I never looked at something and went, that's fake. It felt all organically done, and that's such an important thing because we see it so rarely. The film looks its best. We've seen certain scenes in the trailer where the camera is really shaking. It's a certain scene in this film. That scene visually is just amazing. It happens about halfway through. You'll know when it happens, but there's some really cool camera stuff that's done there. What we will say is the soundtrack is really good.
It is pretty good. It's great. It's great. And it nails points, and it gets like the job done.
Yeah. Could have been better.
Could have been a bit better.
They had Cliff Martinez, who's the composer who works quite often on Nicholas Winding Refn's films, so Drive and Only God Forgives, and obviously he's just done Neon Demons, a couple of other things he's done. I think he could have probably done a little bit better job, because what happens is the score, it's there, and it accomplishes what it needs to. It kind of does its job, but it never takes you on a journey of its own. I think the best kind of superhero soundtracks, like say The Dark Knight, for instance, kind of has a life of its own. Everyone remembers that soundtrack.
100%. I mean,
totally
like,
listenable.
There's like it really does its job quite well. But the thing is, it could have just elevated so much more. I mean, like if we got a Gustavo Santaolalla, obviously the guy that did The Last of Us and a lot of other things. He would have just brought an extra level of emotion that, I mean, like, probably would have turned my waterfall into a fucking lake.
Into a flood. Into
like,
floodgates are open.
The thing is, though, like, as much as the music might not get those tears rolling, the performances and the scenes...
Just the way the story's told.
This is just one of the best stories we've ever seen in a superhero film, and
it's such a good story regardless of that. Regardless, you take the superhero thing away, it's still a really, really great story. Now, I think it hit Jay emotionally a lot harder than me. I think people are going to have different points in this movie where they might not connect with it as hard. I think the third act for me, the First act was amazing, second act was really good, and third act I wasn't quite as into, but every single decision that was made I still really loved. It was much more entertaining than involving, I'd say, by the end of it, whereas at the start I was really hooked. But for you...
I don't know, like for me, there was a couple of points which we won't really mention in this video, but like, there was kind of, it was just...
They could have been done a little bit better, they could have just been hit really hard.
Yeah, but at the same time, then contrasting that later on, I frothed the ending of this film. Like, it delivered so well and on so many layers. Like I was right there, I was in the moment and feeling absolutely everything, and I was just so glad. Like, I mean, like, yeah, across the board though, I mean, right from the start to the end,
every single moment's kind of hit really well. Almost every single moment at least. It's got great world building, it's got great visuals, it's got great performances, it sounds great. It is great.
It's just such an exciting film, and it's so great to see Logan achieve what it set out to achieve for Hugh, especially. You know, I'm just so glad this film exists and it delivered this well.
It's a movie I would definitely probably see. I'd see it again after that, and who knows how many times after, because it's just what we want to be seeing in superhero films. We just want to see stuff that exists on its own, and oh god, it's good. On that note, we could keep on going on forever. We are probably going to do a video where either we talk about the ending or we do a full spoiler talk down the track, but for now, I just think this is a movie you need to go and see, no matter what, because it's really, really excellent. For me, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10.
And I'm giving this one a 9.2. My goodness, see this film.
So that was our review of Logan. Have you seen it yet?
Did you like it?
Did you hate it?
Did you like this video?
Of course you did.
Crave more banter?
If so, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel down there somewhere.
And you can also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter, all at Breaking Banter.